Hi, I'm Mitch Gallagher. Welcome to the Sweetwater Minute. During GearFest 2016, Sweetwater's Don Carr had a chance to sit down with pianist and songwriter Jim Brickman for a wide-ranging interview. Check this out.
Hey, Don Carr here with Jim Brickman. GearFest 2016. Nice to see you, Jim.
Good to see you, too. It's good to be here.
Yeah, welcome, man. So you're here on behalf of Roland, right?
I am.
Okay.
Very excited about that.
Yeah.
It's the first time that I'm getting to be here on behalf of Roland, and from playing the instruments for the way that I've been over the past year or so. It's been a really amazing opportunity to discover something that I had no idea about.
And that's amazing because the fact that, the incredible breadth of your career, and the various things that you've done, for you to be able to find something new, that's pretty astounding, man.
It is. Well, I mean, that's what it's all about, is to grow and to learn and to embrace things as they change and as it grows. And when you have something as powerful as the technology of Roland and
right.
especially the pianos, it's
right.
an exciting opportunity for me.
Yeah, absolutely. Because, you are a pianist. First and foremost, that is your, that's your instrument for sure.
Yeah, I think of myself really as a songwriter first, and that I play the songs that I write on the piano.
Right.
So composer, songwriter, but yeah, I play them all on the piano. You wouldn't want to hear me play the guitar, I don't think.
Yeah, I guess I should have rephrased that. Your voice is the piano.
Yeah.
Yeah, but yeah, obviously you are a songwriter. Wow, man. Many accolades and, of course, huge hits, across a really long career. You've had 20 years?
Yeah,
right?
Past 20 years or so. Started in 1995 with Windham Hill Records.
Yeah.
That was the first label that I was on. And then as I started to add vocal collaborations along the way, I think that's really where a lot of the breakdowns of the genre and style happened, which was a really cool thing as a songwriter.
Yeah, absolutely, because you reach a wider audience and you go in different places, and that just looking at your career, over that span, that's one of the things that's really interesting, is the way you were able to take what you do and cross genres like that, especially with the vocal collaboration.
Well, I think what's interesting is that we all get into an idea that, this is a country song, this is an R&B song, this is a pop song, and to me it's just music, and it doesn't really have to be in a particular category. So the through line in a lot of my work, of course, is that it's my songwriting, but whether it's an artist that's known for singing country music or whether it's an artist that's known for their pop style, to me, generally speaking, they're just singers. They're great singers, and they just happen to be singing that kind of music or known for that kind of music.
Right, yeah, that's what genre they've been working in. But, obviously, like you say, somebody that's got a great voice, like Colin Ray, for example, who's typically a country artist, but wow, he can sing anything, obviously, right?
I think of all somebody like Colin or Martina McBride or Lady Antebellum, or especially in that country, they're singers. They're great singers who happen to be known for singing country songs. And they're not necessarily country singers. To me, that's kind of the difference.
Yeah, and there again, man, back to your the whole genre busting concept that that you've had, where you were able to cross over solo piano into adult contemporary, and then cross country over into. Wow, just great vision on your part, obviously.
Well, my hope is that a great song and a great melody really breaks down all those barriers. There's no reason that once you break down a song from a lot of these genres, you're really just dealing with melody and chords, and that's what music is made up of. So
yeah, exactly. Whatever kind of dressing you put around it or rhythm you put with it, that's awesome. So let's talk about how you started. I understand you have a very interesting story about how you started playing piano.
Well, I grew up in Cleveland, Ohio. I did not come from a musical family. I've always been attracted to music of any kind, but I did not have the intention of becoming a performer or a recording artist. To me, it wouldn't have mattered to me whether it was just writing songs for other people, arranging, producing, working at a radio station. I mean, as long as I was around music, it didn't matter. It's the way that it evolved for me really came from the songwriting, and I didn't discover until really my early 30s is when I got the record deal. So it was pretty late, and considering the way it is now. But that there was really a place for this solo piano music that could chill people out or relax or just be really melodic and like pop music, but instrumental pop music. And there really wasn't a lot out there that was like that. And it was just the way that I played. It was the way that it came naturally to me. And so it grew from there, and then sort of snowballed into becoming a performing career, which is not something I ever would have imagined it would have turned into.
Wow. Yeah, that's really something. And so you got your actual start in the business writing jingles, correct?
I did. I was a jingle writer because I was in Cleveland and I was a songwriter. So I thought, well, what kind of options do you have as a songwriter when you don't live in an entertainment center?
Yeah.
And so I was really drawn to commercial hooks. This was my nature, was to write hooky melodies. It came naturally to me. So the best experience to do that is in commercials, because it's creativity on demand. It's style. You're writing in styles every single day. You're producing tracks, and an advertising agency is giving you a budget to basically play with, to do whatever you want. And so it was an amazing experience for me to be in advertising. It honed my skills as a songwriter, because it was instant. This has to be done today, and it needs to be recorded tomorrow, and you have to cast the vocals, and you have to produce the track. And at the beginning, I really didn't know what I was doing, but I learned quickly.
Yeah. Obviously, you made a living at it, so I mean, that was great.
It was good. Yeah. To me, it was a better route for me personally than playing in a band or weddings or events. That didn't appeal to me that much.
Yeah. Well, like you say, it honed your songwriting skills, and that's kind of what it goes back to.
Yeah. It was really songwriting and producing. So it's not you're not front and center in those. You're behind the scenes. So I always just imagined that that's how it would always be.
Yeah.
That I wouldn't be the artist. I would just be, I don't need to be in the,
Yeah, and here you are, right?
Yeah,
obviously.
It's funny how it happens like that.
Yeah, I'd say.
Now I wouldn't trade it for anything, but I just didn't realize that it was going to be so fascinating to me to dive into live performing and to have that be really the key element of what's now the success is really a lot of it comes from live performing and being the best performer that you can be, which is something a lot of people don't think about.
Yeah, and that's a whole separate skill set in and of itself, aside from being even an artist or a recording artist or a songwriter. Yeah.
Completely different.
Yeah, and so I understand that you do a lot of solo concerts.
Mostly my concerts are solo.
Wow.
Yeah, everybody always says when when I walk in the backstage, George, so where's the band? And I say, no, I am the band. That's it. It's just. And they say, oh, it's just you then? So yeah, it's just me.
Yep, just me.
Like that's not enough, but I think that's what's made it unique, is that the expectation is when you go to a concert, it's going to be the band, it's going to be the rhythm section,
giant production,
and this is just it's like you're in my living room and we're just having a conversation. And because the music is so intimate by nature, it takes on that tone in the live experience as well.
Sure, lends itself to it, and it also allows you to play just a variety of venues, I'm sure.
Yeah, exactly.
Which is great. You can obviously play big places, but you can still get away with playing smaller places.
Yeah, I lately I've been preferring playing the smaller venues, because it really is a it's like a gathering, you know, of community gathering in many ways.
Yeah, that's great. That's great. And speaking of being an artist, you have a new record.
Yeah, you know, I try to put out a couple different records every year, actually, because of the way the music is, you know, now. There's so many ways to hear it, and so because it's so niche oriented, that you can do a lot of different things and not necessarily cross over. I think, you know, when I was growing up in the '70s, if some of my favorite artists came out with 2 albums a year, I would say, you know, one is enough. It's not, you know.
It's like overload.
Yeah, but because of digital and streaming and the way people discover music, I feel like the more content that's out there is the better.
Wow, and that's, I mean, perfect for you, songwriter. You know, you got tons of songs, right?
Yeah, and you would think that, I mean, that after about 20 years I would run out of ideas of what to do, but you know, luckily I love Christmas because I have lots of Christmas albums, and so there's no shortage of great Christmas songs. But I have an album called Freedom Rings. That's it's a Americana tribute to patriotism and some of the music that I've written for the Olympic Games.
Nice.
So that's out this summer, and then the album called Soothe, which is really all about the chill and the relaxation and the calm, something that I think many of us are seeking more of in our lives today.
No kidding, man. With the fast pace that we're living, you know, definitely.
It's an antidote. Music can be really powerful antidote to that.
Yeah, it sure can. Sure can. And okay, so if this weren't enough, you're also a radio host.
Well, I've been doing the radio show for about almost 20 years, and so for me, it's a chance to do what you're doing with me, which is to find out interesting things about other people.
Right.
And you always learn from that, and you always gain perspective by listening to other people, and you never know what you can learn. So it's one of the reasons I really like doing the show, and it's on the weekends. It's 4 hours on the weekends, so it's not incredibly demanding, but pretty much everything I do comes from a sort of the hub of the emotional connection of music. And whether it's the radio show or whether it's the books or the live concerts or recordings, they all really center around the power of music and the emotional connection that it makes.
Yeah, I mean, and that's a great message too. That certainly is, and like you were saying, that's something that we can use in this day and age for sure, man.
Well, yeah, I think a lot of times musicians are too self-conscious about the choices that they make. That it's I look at it as something to share. That this is something that I'm sharing. If you decide you're going to do it professionally, then you're already making a decision to have a relationship with the audience.
Yeah, and you certainly do that. I mean, just taking that concept right there, between the intimacy of the live concerts, radio program, you're obviously sharing a lot about yourself on that as well. And you do cruises as well, right?
I do. I mean, all of these things have kind of culminated in my desire to advocate for young musicians who maybe think about wanting to do this for their lives. And I know that for me, I didn't have a lot of guidance. Certainly, if there were instruments like Roland makes when I was growing up, that would have been a great point of entry for me to be able to start to play.
Yeah. And
we didn't have that kind of stuff. You had to just sort of figure it out. If you didn't have a grand piano or an upright, that was the choice.
Yeah.
And so I love to advocate for young musicians to help in any way that I can, whether it's through sharing my experience with Roland and the point of entry in their keyboards, but also in music advocacy for the desire to do this, and that it can happen to you if you want it badly enough and you feel like you have something to share.
Wow. Yeah. I mean, because that is kind of your story, right? I mean, that's you wanted it bad enough and you made it happen, which is
I mean, I
amazing.
felt like I was called to do it, and there are many people who feel that way, and there's really no reason that you can't. You just have to You just have to want to do it, and you have to feel like you have something to say.
Right, and just work at it and go for it. Yeah. Wow. Well, Jim, thanks so much.
It's
man.
my pleasure.
Been wonderful. It's been wonderful.
Thank you. Pleasure.
Thank you.
Our thanks to Jim Brickman and Don Carr for a wonderful interview. I hope you enjoyed it. And thanks for joining me for the Sweetwater Minute. I'm Mitch Gallagher.